Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Intuitive Life Coach. This is your host, Angie, and I am coming with another message today for you that I've been getting in my spirit. I'm going to be 100% honest from the start. This episode is probably going to be all over the place. So bear with me because there's a lot going on in my head. Before we get started, just a little bit about me. I am an intuitive psychic medium, and I have a book out called Leaf Lessons: When Religion and Trauma Collide, the Process of Spiritual Awakening and Healing. It does have my own personal story in it, as well as some messages and visitations that I had from spirit guides, my dad who passed 2 years ago, and from some other relatives that have come through. And so I highly encourage getting the book. I think it will be really beneficial for a lot of people. I also do life coaching. I have a 6 weeks healing and manifesting course that is starting next weekend. So on October the 15th, we start this healing and manifesting course. And in this course, I go week by week. It's self-paced. I give you an assignment for the week. I will check in with you every Sunday evening. We will get together on Zoom as a group call with everybody that signed up. And we will learn about our energy. We'll learn about clearing energy. We'll learn about inner child work. We'll learn about what manifestation is, raising our vibration and connecting with our inner intuition, and then how to live this out in our daily lives. So I highly recommend, if you are on a healing journey and you're seeking something a little bit more, that you jump in. It is a really low price right now. I will tell you that I am going to be raising it because of the amount of work that it takes to put in. But I want to get this going for people, so I'm offering it at a pretty low price now. I also do one-on-one coaching. I do have several people I'm working with at the moment. So if you want in with the one-on-one coaching, I do suggest that you jump in when you can before my schedule gets completely booked with that. So that is that, and I shall move on. So today, I don't even really know what the actual topic is that I want to share. I just know that I'm getting a lot of intuitive hits in my spirit, in my body, in the physical. It has felt like, sometimes it's hard to explain what it feels like when you're having like intuitive messages coming at you, but it's felt like I am like coming into a different vibration, I guess you would say, and the clarity that comes with that is a little bit, it's like shifts from where I was to where I'm going. And I feel like I might be in the middle at somewhere. Like I'm not all the way where I'm meant to be in this next like growth period for me, but I'm also not where I was, if that makes sense. So the thoughts going through my head. One, love. And I know a couple episodes ago I talked a little bit about love, and I want to kind of share a little bit more that's been coming to me as far as this. Basically, what I've come to understand is that we are basically source energy. And since we are made of source energy, like in the image of this energy we call God, we are actually made of love. And a lot of times, like I know I talked about this in a couple episodes ago, but like we seek the understanding of love outside of ourselves. And I'm not going to necessarily talk as much about the relationship aspect of like seeking love, wanting to be in love, being validated by people loving you, things like that. I want to talk more about the recognition that we get in life. And that a lot of times we find our value in the person that we are based on the recognition that we have around us. Who thinks what about us? And sometimes we could have recognition from a ton, like hundreds of people, yet we still want it from this one person, or this one set of people, or this one area in our life. Like like we don't have recognition in this area, therefore our worth is not where we want it to be, basically. And yet we have all this other recognition in our life, and we seem to kind of pass that up. It's almost like our ego gets so caught up in this, it keeps us stuck in always looking for places that we are not like finding our worth in. It's almost as if once we win the title of something, we get that recognition and we're like, yeah, I'm the winner, I'm number one, or I did this, and you get the recognition, and then it passes and everybody forgets. And it's not that people forget, it's just like, I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter to people. Like, I think about things like sports, like the Super Bowl. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that do remember, like, who won the Super Bowl, what year, and what all happened. But it doesn't directly impact their life. Like, they're not sitting around every day thinking, like, for example, the Chiefs. I'm just saying that because I live near this stadium. They didn't win the Super Bowl last year. Everybody was rooting, well, most everybody that I know of was rooting for them, and they didn't win. And I have not sat around and thought about that at all in the last year. And I heard an advertisement the other day about how they were interviewing Chiefs players, like, are you going to win this year? Do you think you'll make it to the Super Bowl? Blah, blah. And they were like, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to make it. We're going to win. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. But the reality of it is that does not impact my life in a personal level. Like, I am not going to sit around and be like, I'm so glad they won because now I can do this and now this and that. So it's like the things that we seek to, the rewards we seek, can leave a void in our lives because there's always going to be something else to get. There's always going to be a higher level to go. And what I think I'm trying to get across here is that if we don't live in the now, in the moment, and enjoy the present, we're going to miss this moment because we're wanting the next moment to be here so badly. And the desire to seek happiness, the desire to seek success, the desire to be everything that you want to be takes away from you being in general. And the interesting thing is this all comes back to love. All of it. Because when you understand love, then on a level of like what it really truly is, outside of the rewards, outside of the acknowledgement, being seen, being known, those kind of things, it all comes back to self-love. Because if you don't have the self-love, you can have everything given to you and you can still feel miserable inside and always be looking for validation on the outside. And I think this is what religion can cause people to do, is when you continually look outside of yourself to be filled back up, like praying out for something, you are never actually connecting with God. It's almost like you're sending sticky notes out into heaven saying, hey, this is my request. When you get this, let me know because I want it, and this is going to make me feel like this. But the reality of it is instead of like praying and sending these prayers out into this the God that is outside of us, what I really think that source, God, whatever you want to say, label this as, is trying to teach us is it is inside of us that we find this. It is inside of us that we find fulfillment. It is inside of us that we find that reward, the acknowledgement, the being seen. Because when you see yourself, when you acknowledge yourself, when you have boundaries around yourself that are healthy, when you connect with your spirit through meditation and mindfulness and being in the moment, everything else around you kind of just fades away. And it's not that you like don't care, but you don't. It's almost like you switch from a desperate need to have everything around you okay to the calmness of I am okay. And the hard thing about this is it sounds really selfish to those that haven't come into this like connection with self, the connection with the inner God, basically, to the I am part of ourselves. And the love that we seek comes when we get quiet enough to allow it to come into our ego, because it's already in our spirit. It's already inside of us. Love never left us. Recognition never left us. Being acknowledged never left. It is all inside. We were just programmed to start looking for things outside of ourselves to fill what we think is a void. Because on the outside of us, there is a void. We will never fill that part of ourselves with the outside, because it will always leave us wanting more. You will always want to have something new. And on the inside, when you embrace your spirituality and you make your life about a balance of living in the spirit and allowing that to reflect out into the world, the wholeness and the peace that comes with it is what surpasses all understanding, which is exactly what Jesus was trying to teach us and what Buddha was trying to teach us. That the peace that comes through the source energy inside of our own self is all filling, is all loving, it's all acknowledging, it's all seeking, it's all right there inside. And so every time you connect with this energy, every time you take the time to acknowledge it, you are raising your vibration on the earth. And that is where healing comes from. That's where manifestation is. That's where connection comes from. That's where love for your neighbor comes from. It all starts within. And the Buddha, Jesus, all the great teachers before us all talked about being still, be quiet, just know, trust. And I've really been thinking a lot about the verse in the Bible that talks about if your faith is as big as a mustard seed, you can basically believe or pray for anything. And I like to think in the realms of manifestation when it comes to this, because I think about how when I raise my vibration, when I connect with my spirit, when I go inward, when I meditate, when I allow that love to radiate inside of me and fill me up and heal my ego, heal my mind, I'm like putting little tiny mustard seeds out in the atmosphere. And my faith is increasing just a little bit more and a little bit more. And in that energy is where I find God. In that energy is where I find my source of peace and abundance. That's where I receive the things that are meant for me on this earth. That's where I receive my soul purpose. That's where I get my calling. That's where I receive even the financial gains, or where I put, all these things are already out in the atmosphere, in this energy. We just don't take the time to connect with it because we're so chaotic and so busy looking and trying to find it outside of ourselves, when really it's already there. We just have to connect with it. But it's hard because we want immediate results. Like, we're programmed in society, and it gets worse and worse as the years go by because of social media and all this stuff. Like, I'm not going to lie. I just got the new iPhone 14 Pro or whatever it's called. I already broke it, so I did an insurance claim, which I told you guys about. Anyways, I don't like it. I'm not going to say don't get it, because I think people are probably going to love this, but it's way too fast for me. It's way too high tech. It's got all these things on it, and I'm like, I can't do this. It just makes my mind chaotic. So I'm going back to the simple. I'm going to get the other one that's not the Pro or whatever. So, but it's like things like that. It's like we want instant gratification. So it's almost like we think that we can manifest or we can ask for something, and it's just going to be there tomorrow. Now, sometimes it does happen. I'm not going to say that it can't, but it also is very like, I think that Source, God, will do those things for us when this energy knows that we're ready to receive. Like I was one of the women I coach today. We were talking about some manifestation stuff, and she said that the other day she just was like, I really need a new office chair, and just kind of said it. And the very next day, there was a free one on Facebook, and she was like, well, there we go. And so it was just like immediate result. However, there's other things in our life that we're like, I really want this. And it doesn't come the way that we hope it comes. And we get discouraged. We get upset. We start to beat ourselves up. We start to think there's something wrong with us. I'm doing it wrong. Because we're trying to seek all that validation outside of ourselves when it's already inside of ourselves. We just have to go inward and find it. And the reality of it is the reason we're not receiving something is because we haven't yet aligned our energy with it. One, our vibration isn't at that point to receive it. And two, we're more than likely in a pruning or growing season, so that when we do get it, we are still fulfilled. We're not getting it to fill a void inside of ourselves. We're getting it because we know we're worthy to have it, because it lines up with who we are. Not to get recognition, not to feel good, not to have something to say that we have it, but to align with what we already are. So connecting with that source energy inside of us is our number one priority on this earth. That is what we need to do. Now, let me see how long I've been talking here, because I want to take a little side note. I got 20 minutes here. I will make this quick. I want to talk about something else when it comes to love. I want to talk about karma. And something that's been coming up in my mind a lot, and I think I might just make another whole episode on this now that I think of it, because I think I might have way more to talk about. Karma. You know, I talk about finding all this stuff outside of ourselves to fill ourselves up. I think karma is the same way. I think when we go through something really hard or we are hurt by somebody, our automatic response is like, I hope that happens to them too. Wait till it happens to them. They'll know how this feels, kind of a thing. And 100,000 bazillion%, I am guilty. 100,000 bazillion infinity. I am so guilty. I mean, I have badmouthed people that hurt me. I have wished harm. I have done all this stuff. And my spirit in the last weeks to months has been, every time I hear somebody say they're getting what they deserve, or that's karma for what you did to me, kind of a thing, I cringe a little bit in my spirit, because as good as it feels to see somebody go through the same thing that you maybe went through because you want them to feel the way you felt, they are also source energy. They are also love energy. They are also the I am energy. And wishing harm on somebody else, you're actually wishing harm on yourself. Because the energy that we send out is what we're going to receive. So if you are in a place of hurting or wanting somebody to understand how hurt you are by something, and maybe even praying or wishing karma on somebody, understand that when you send that energy out, you're sending toxic energies out into the universe. And these are the exact same things that we're trying to release ourselves from. Okay? This is hard, you guys. So hard. I'm not gonna lie, like, something happened this week and to somebody that is very close to me, and the first thing that I thought was, well, here you go, karma. The same thing happened to me. Now you understand. Like, it was almost the same scenario. And it was kind of shocking that this person went through it, but I was kind of like, yep. So I was like debating, like, how do I react to this? How do I give love? Am I kind? Do I care? Like, where is my role in this? And when I came back to it, I realized that I don't have a role, first of all. This is their life. This is what they need to work through. But also, my role, if I have one at all, is to love. And then to continue to love myself enough to allow myself to be filled with love, enough love, to love even those that have hurt me. And so it comes back again to trying to fill our void outside of ourselves, even through wishing harm. Isn't that crazy that we do that? Like, we actually think that the harm of another is going to fill a void in us. Not that we want anything bad to happen or anything like that, but it's like, in some sense we do. Because we're like, I just want you to know how bad it hurt. But the reality, I'm going to be 100% honest. Like, in this lifetime, I have not died. I have not left my body, other than times that I've been in meditation and had visions and in my dreams and things like that, where I've had out-of-body experiences. I have not actually physically died. So I cannot tell you what it's like to go through the dying process. I can't tell you what it's like to get on the other side as a spirit. But I can tell you what I have experienced in my out-of-body experiences in communicating with spirits. And I will tell you, when you get to the other side, that pruning process, the self-judgment, the life review that spirits go through on the other side, that is enough for somebody to go through. Because what happens when you get to the other side is you don't just experience your life through your life, you experience other people's lives as if you were them, and feeling all the feelings, feeling all the hurt, all the things that you as a human did in a lifetime. And from what I understand, it can be very excruciating because you want to fix it. And I believe in some aspects, that is why my dad came back to me and asked me for forgiveness several times, actually. Because when he got to the other side, he realized, because he experienced my pain, he experienced my hurt, he experienced how I felt, and he wanted to make it right. And so when you're wanting to validate yourself by sending this energy out, just realize you're actually sending it to yourself. So release the need to actually wish harm on somebody or hope it or be excited about it in some aspect when something happens. Or see yourself as winning, I guess. Because in the end, we all win. We all go to the same place. We all are source energy. And I know that sucks because we want to have justice and we want to have, all these things come back. But in the spirit, in the God conscious, in the Christ consciousness, in the truth of this God energy that we are made of, that's the toxic energy. That's the hell that we create on earth. And so all this validation outside of us, all the seeking, all the acknowledgement in any aspect, good, bad, whatever it is all coming back into us trying to fill a void within our ego that we can actually truly fill with our spirit if we got quiet enough to connect. So all this is really heavy. It's a lot. I'm not going to say that this is easy or that I've gotten to this point. I think this is, we are on earth to learn this, and it's going to take a lifetime. But I do think we can get better at it. But I think it takes conscious decisions of going inward and spending time with our spirit in meditation. I think we have to make the time, or else we continue to repeat the cycles that we actually don't even like repeating. Or we continue to be stuck behind the rocks in our lives, beating up against them, when all we have to do is lay back in the stream and just move forward. And if you ever read my book, get my book and you'll understand what that means. So, okay, I did it. I did it before 30 minutes. I'm just about to hit 30 minutes here in a minute. So, all that being said, if you want help, again, my manifesting course, my healing and manifesting course, 100% will help you with this. My one-on-one healing and mentoring and coaching and whatever aspect you need it will help. If you want to just have an intuitive reading or a psychic reading, you can get on my website and book a call with me. I'm happy to do that. All of it. So if you are a woman, I invite you to come join my Women Awakened group on Facebook. And you should be able to type that in and find it. It has my name, Angie Harris, on it. And I'd love to have you in it. I do some readings in it and full moon meditations, all that kind of stuff. So, all right. I think that's it, you guys. I'm going to let you go. And I hope that you all have the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send all the universal love that there is. Namaste.